Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tales from the Heart. I'm Chris Hart, and I'm a living historian. And today I want to share with you a little bit about this flag that I'm holding here. It's our Star Spangled Banner. But it is a story, it is a flag that has lots of little hidden meanings, nuances, stories about it. And what I want to do for a few minutes is, as I launch my first official video on my YouTube channel after the introduction that hopefully many of you saw, is I'm going to give you a little bit of the story about the flag. There's a full portrayal that's called "Oh, Can't You See?" and that tells you the complete history of the flag. But we'll talk a little bit about the picture today and just give you a little background and everything. This is a picture of the Star Spangled Banner located in the Smithsonian Institute. But actually, is it really? Well, maybe depends on technically how you look at it. So let's go back to the date. September the 13th, 1814, during the War of 1812. The location is Fort McHenry in the harbor of Baltimore. And the commanding the American forces there that are going up against a British flotilla is a gentleman by the name of George Armistead. And about a year ago, George took over the command of Fort McHenry, and he ordered a new flag. He wanted a huge banner that he figured the British were going to show up eventually, and he wanted them to be able to see this American flag without any question from their ship. So he ordered this huge one. It's actually, when he had it made, it was like 30 by 42. And he also ordered, at the same time, a smaller storm flag, a storm standard. It was Army regulations that the larger flag would be flown during regular weather, but during a storm or rain, they would take it down and they would hoist up the smaller storm standard flag. And it only was like about 17 by 25, so quite a bit smaller. So the date is September the 13th, 1814. The battle begins. The British flotilla are shelling Fort McHenry. Um, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the battle began at about 6:30. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon, rain comes in. A huge storm comes in. And so, per Army regulations, they hoist up the storm standard. They take the big flag down, they hoist up the storm standard, and it is there the rest of the day. It's there all night because it's raining. And actually, technically speaking, when the young attorney from Baltimore by the name of Francis Scott Key sees by dawn's early light the flag above Fort McHenry, and he sees that it is still an American flag and the Americans have held the day, that is actually the flag that he's seeing. It is the smaller storm standard flag. The huge regular flag would not be hoisted up till about 9 a.m. that day. And Francis would have seen that other flag at about dawn's early light, which would have been around 5 in the morning. So, technically speaking, the flag that he saw, which was the Star Spangled Banner, was actually the storm standard flag, the smaller one. So, why don't we have it? Why are we celebrate this one as the as the Star Spangled Banner? Good question. That smaller storm standard flag lost to history. Nobody knows what happened to it. This is the flag that everybody knows as the Star Spangled Banner. And it did fly over Fort McHenry. It's just not technically the one that Francis Scott saw that morning. But anyway, it is the one that this flag has quite a history. But I'm going to show you a couple of things about it. This is a picture from the Smithsonian. This is a few years ago when they had it on display. And you notice some things very much different about it. And first of all, you notice this black line across here. That's actually where the flag ends today. There is a lot of it missing. This picture shows what it was like if the flag was intact. But if you look at this black line, and it's a little bit jagged, that is all the flag that is missing. Where happened to the missing, all that missing? There's about 8 feet missing off of the fly end. Over the years, it seems almost sacrilegious today, but over the years, bits and pieces of it were snipped off and given to people. People would write to the family that was taking care of the flag, the ancestors of George Armistead, and say, "Can I have a piece of the flag? It would mean so much to me." And they would cut off a small snippet and they would give it to them. I mean, you can imagine today we think about cutting up the Star Spangled Banner. But that's exactly what happened. These pieces are all over in museums and private collections and everything. And as you can see at the most point, like I said, there's about 8 feet missing off of this flag before they finally got done cutting it up. I don't know if you've noticed, but right in here, there's also marked, looks like there's a star missing. There is indeed one star missing. Now, before I tell you about that, let me tell you about the makeup of this flag. If you look very carefully and you count, and I will do it for you, the Star Spangled Banner that flew over Fort McHenry, this giant banner, actually has 15 stars and stripes. That's right, 15 stripes, red and white stripes, 15 stars. What had happened is, as states came into the Union after the original 13, they got not only a star, but a stripe. So state number 14 and 15 was Vermont and Kentucky. So as they joined the Union, they each got a star, they each got a stripe. So now, at the time of the battle in 1814, actually 3 other states had joined the Union, Tennessee, Ohio, and Louisiana. But they hadn't got a star or a stripe or anything yet. That will come a little bit later. But after the battle, a couple years later, Congress, in its infinite wisdom, realized that, hey, we can't keep adding a stripe and a star every time a state comes in the Union. So they passed a law that basically said, okay, for the stripes, we'll go back to the original 13. 13 stripes for the original 13 colonies. And then every time a state joins the Union, they'll get just a star on the field of blue. But so that's what we know today, of course. But at this time, there were 15 stars. But as you can see by the black lines, one of them is missing. They've got it filled in behind so you can see, but it's definitely there. There's only 14. So what happened to the missing star? Again, it's a great mystery. Nobody knows for sure. There are theories. Some people thought it might have been given to the family of Francis Scott Key after he passed away. They claim they never got it. One of the far-fetched tales says that they gave it to Abraham Lincoln. But none of the Lincoln scholars have ever said anything about him having a star from the Star Spangled Banner. A popular myth, maybe, or maybe the true fact, is that it was given to the Marquis de Lafayette from France. You remember Marquis de Lafayette was a Revolutionary War hero. He not only came and helped fight, he was a good friend of George Washington, enabled the French to help us win our independence. So he was quite the hero, was Marquis de Lafayette. And in 1824, he returned to the United States on kind of a farewell tour. And one of the stops he made was at Baltimore. The widow of George Armistead had the flag, and she showed it to him. He had a private audience with the flag. There's a lot of people speculate that in an act of patriotism, she gave him a star. Now, he never acknowledged that, but sounds as good a story as anything else. Maybe our 15th star off of our Star Spangled Banner is somewhere over in France. Sounds like a road trip possibly we need to make to search this thing down. What else can I tell you a little bit of? Oh, you're going to notice right here, looks like a red V, kind of sideways, kind of a chevron. This was actually embroidered on there at some point in history. It was not part of the original flag. Again, more desecration of the flag? Who knows? And what does it mean? Is it a V? Is it a red V? Or perhaps it's a red A for Armistead. The Armistead family is taking care of the flag. But if so, where's the crossbar? Where's the crosspiece? Was it there? Maybe it never got put on there. Maybe it fell off. Who knows? Again, uh, Star Spangled Banner asks a lot of questions that we don't have answers for. Today, we know it safely resides in the Smithsonian, and they did a wonderful job of preserving it. But along the way, for roughly approximately 90 years in history, nobody was exactly sure where this flag was before it eventually ended up in the Smithsonian. So there's more to this tale than just in what I'm sharing with you this evening. But I wanted to get something officially on our YouTube channel. Come back at a later date. I'm gonna do the whole version. We'll go start to finish. How Francis Scott Key got involved, how it was hidden away, what happened to it, uh, how it was restored, where it's at today. We'll tell you the whole story. The program's called "Oh, Can't You See?" Oh, say can't you see? I get it right. Oh, say can't you see? But tonight, like I said, I just wanted to share with you a little bit about the Star Spangled Banner and maybe raise some questions, give you some things to think about there. Anyway, again, I want to really thank you for joining me. I hope you will give me a like and a comment. And certainly, if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It's my pleasure to make these and to share them. And folks, we're just getting started. I got lots of tales to show with you. And we'll probably do a full 1 hour version, probably be the next one we do. But I wanted to get this one out to you and get you thinking a little bit. So again, thanks for joining me. Have a good evening.